Hi, everybody. Really happy to be with you today. And I want to introduce you all to Laurie Richards. Many of you who are within the Simply Music community will know Laurie or know of Laurie. She's one of our Simply Music master teachers. She's been a part of Simply Music for, I think this is your 20th year as
Yep,
being a part
20
of the
years.
organization. And so not only is Laurie a wonderful and highly accomplished and broadly experienced teacher, but she's also worked alongside of me in a variety of capacities, predominantly teacher support, in speaking to potential teachers. She's been involved in teacher trainings. She's been involved administratively, overseeing projects. So Laurie has a very long-standing and very rich and unique perspective on Simply Music. And she's just a beautiful person. She's wonderful and direct and concise and good-hearted and a big social conscience. So I just love her to bits. And why I wanted to speak with her today, this was my idea to hop on a Zoom call with her. Laurie's just finished writing and has now published this wonderful book, I Found Your Keys, which is just a great title. I love the title. And the subheading here is the revolutionary piano approach that opens musical doors for everybody. So I wanted Laurie on a call to have a chat for a few minutes about this book and what its intent was. And I've read the book through 3 times now, from cover to cover, and I think it's just wonderful. And it actually has, to me, multiple applications. This is a book that really could be read by anybody for a number of reasons. And rather than me go into that right now, Laurie, just tell us a little bit about your book and why you wrote it and who you see it for and what the intention was.
Yeah, well, thank you, Neil. I appreciate the opportunity. Like you said, I'm in my 20th year of teaching and being involved with Simply Music organization, and I've seen the opportunities and just the amazing results that students get, the opportunities for both students and teachers over the years, and it's the results and the outcomes are so out of the park from what we're accustomed to that it can be kind of hard to for people to wrap their head around how are we able to actually accomplish this, because it's not like anything else that's ever been accomplished before. And so the thing is, when somebody asks about it, like somebody that's interested in just seeing what it's about or teaching it, it's been kind of difficult to it's hard to put it in a nutshell. It's like you kind of have to experience it. And I just wanted to create a resource that people could use to get a feel for where the method comes from, like philosophically, and how it's structured and why it works and how it works. And I wanted something a little more concise, because we didn't really have any way of sharing that information with somebody other than being involved in the program. So that's kind of why I wrote the book. And it goes into, the claims that we do make and how we're able to achieve those claims. So I
Yeah,
kind of wanted a book that would explain it to different people that were interested in it.
it's one of the things that well, firstly, what you were saying before about the program, based on the results that it achieves and the pathway that it takes in achieving those. There's so much about the program that's non-traditional, so that in and of itself makes it somewhat of a challenge. I mean, generally our
Mhm.
formal approach to music education has been in place for hundreds of years, and along comes a program that's really out of left field, that non-traditional and not really based on the framework of traditional learning. And so from that aspect, we then look at the outcome for both students and teachers. It redefines who's capable of learning music and what that experience in the process and the speed and ease of learning, etc. But it also redefines who's capable of teaching music. And that's a very difficult
Absolutely.
thing. very difficult thing, particularly for traditionally trained and oftentimes formally qualified teachers. Very difficult to get their head around all of this. And, one of the things for me, in the speaking that I do about Simply Music, and particularly the technologically saturated world that we're heading into, and particularly with the technological tsunami that we're going to be witnessing over the next decade and more, we're dealing with an impact that will redefine life on Earth. And it's the need for us to think more creatively than ever before has never been so important. And we also know that creative musicianship has so much to contribute to people in the development of their creative capability. And so when I'm involved in these conversations, oftentimes we can get into many of the surrounding issues and the complex issues regarding technology and its impact and the neurology of creativity, et cetera, et cetera. But what I love about your book is true to form. One of the things that's one of your many strengths is that you have the ability to say, in a chapter what I would take a book. You have the ability to say in a sentence what I would take a chapter. And in true to form of who you are, this is so practical and so simple and so clear and so concise. And so I see from that point of view that if I'm an adult student and I want to learn, or I've tried before in the past and I failed, and I've been left feeling like, something's missing from me, or I'm not musical, your ability to be able to explain how this program is able to address those issues and have anybody connecting to their natural musicianship. And I just think you do that in a really, really relatable way. When we get into thinking about the teacher program, how is it possible that someone could be such a successful teacher, and so many of our educators, how is it possible that so many of our educators can be so successful without being formally trained or without having music degrees? It's tough for people to be able to get their head around that. And yet here it is laid out so clearly and simply and concisely that I just think it's wonderful from that point of view, that it gives people the ability to be able to really get their head around what otherwise can be more challenging.
Yeah, and the thing is with the teaching aspect of it, that we do say you don't need a formal education. However, well, what do you need then, right? There's got to be some kind of qualifications, and so I do go into those, but they're more general than the specific music education background, and I explain all of those as well. So you do know what is needed to be successful as a teacher.
Yeah, so if I look across the board at our educator community, we have Simply Music teachers that have their doctorates in music education or performance and pedagogy. We have trained concert pianists, symphony conductors, jazz musicians, session musicians, performing artists, choir and music directors. But there's this whole other contingent of our educators that were hobbyists and enthusiasts. Gosh, we even have people that had no piano training. And they come into a program like this and discover that not only can they learn how to play, but they can learn how to teach. Well, all of the diversity of those backgrounds is so significant, and the type of information that people want when they're trying to understand Simply Music differs according to what their own background and experiences has been. And I think it's one of the other things that this book accomplishes, is that it speaks to people in a way that whatever level they're at, they can find a pathway to clarity in understanding it, why this such significantly non-traditional program has been able to accomplish so much, and how accessible it is in, like I say, redefining who's capable of learning, redefining who's capable of teaching. It's a really wonderful thing
And
that you've done.
how amazing is that you've got this such a wide disparity of backgrounds in music, all teaching the same thing, the same content, and having the same wonderful results. Those with the background, have a little bit more knowledge behind it, but it's still can be done very successfully with no musical background. That's amazing.
And at the same point of time too, that opportunity that for those people that have broader based experiences and more developed capabilities, there's the room and the freedom within the design of the program for people to still be able to find their way of expressing their own unique capabilities. And
Absolutely. And the cool thing is, I grew up as a traditionally trained musician and my whole family was as well. But I always tell people since I started teaching simply music, I think I have expanded my musicianship tenfold at least because my skills were limited to I was a really great sight reader. I could play well. That was pretty much it. I have expanded my musical horizons so much through this program, and I think most people, I don't know of anyone that learns all of the skills that the program teaches.
mm,
I don't know of any other program or any other musician that has that, breadth of skills and experience. So it's
mm.
just, there's something in it for everybody, I think.
Yeah, well, so having read it, and that the first time I read the book, I just wanted to get a sense of what it was. And the second time, I tried to put myself in the position of, okay, if I was someone that didn't know about simply music, I was wanting to learn, or I was wanting my children to learn. I've heard about this program, but I don't really understand what it is. When I read the book from that perspective, uh, I found that the it was not only very easy for me to understand, but I could see how someone could um, deepen their belief in this approach and deepen their belief in this is well suited to my child, and I also understand now why it would be so well suited to my child. At the same point of time, if I stand in the position of, okay, I'm a traditional teacher and I've heard about this program, I'm wanting to find about more about it. I've heard claims, they sound sort of too good to be true, or too good,
Mhm.
so much different than what it is that I've been able to achieve. How is this possible? When I read the book and take it in through that lens, I also see it's clear for that teacher. Okay, let's just take it and break it down and just unfold what it is that this program does, what it achieves, how it achieves that. And I think it's really wonderful from that point of view that it really gives people an opportunity, regardless of where they're at, whether they're an existing Simply Music teacher. This is a fantastic book to get a slightly different perspective on that which they're already doing. It's also fantastic for their students and families to have a deeper understanding of what the program is. So you've sort of really covered a
Mhm.
lot of bases with this. And I'm sort of like, well, I'm not sort of impressed. I'm really impressed that how you've been able to do that in such a short, concise book. I think it took me maybe 35 or 40 minutes from cover to cover to read the whole thing. It's
Yeah.
terrific.
Oh, thank you. And I didn't want to just talk about here's what we do in the method. I wanted to come at it from the perspective of, look, this is why it's hard to wrap your head around this because we've had this way of thinking for so long, but I go through I start I think of it as kind of a funnel. Like I start with a big perspective of mindset and why we have had the beliefs that we've had in music education for so long and why that's been so limiting for us. And I just kind of walk through a stream of thought, rational and logical discourse using like historical references and scientific references, and then it's validated with real stories of real people that have been impacted by the method. And then I talk about this is how it works. So kind of get the why it's possible and then how it's possible. And then here's the way it works. So I think it
Yeah,
covers, it gives a sense of, first of all, why it's possible and then how it's possible, which I think
yeah,
is what we needed.
fabulous, fabulous.
Yeah.
Um, I recently I saw online that it's now available in hardback as well, and I've ordered a
It
bunch of copies for
is.
myself. I'm
Oh,
excited.
great.
I actually like having a. Oh, you've got a hard copy there? Yeah, at the
I
moment I've
do.
just got
Yeah.
the soft back, but something about a hardback that just feels good. I like hardback books. Um,
I do too.
and I'm, I want to be clear, and I hope it's obvious that I'm here to promote the book for your benefit here. And so, where do people get the book, and what format's it available in?
It's available on Amazon.com and it's available as an ebook or the soft cover or the hardcover.
Okay. Well, I'll make sure to include a link to Amazon where people are able to
Yeah, great.
get a hold of it.
Yeah,
Well, Laurie, once again, well done. And
thank
thank
you.
you. I know for sure that the people who read the book will be left with a very, very clear understanding of what it is that this program is all about. You've done a wonderful job. And thanks for hopping on the call and giving me the opportunity to shout your praises and bring a bit of attention to this wonderful book that you've produced. Really great job, Laurie.
Thank you so much, Neil. I appreciate the opportunity and I appreciate everything that you have done in bringing this method to everybody.
Thank you.
Love
Well,
it.
my pleasure. Okay. All the best. Take care. Okay, guys. So yeah, hop over to Amazon, grab Laurie's book, and please reach out to us here at Simply Music at any point of time if you want to share your thoughts. And if someone wants to share their thoughts with you, Laurie, how would they best contact you?
They could email me at Laurie at ivoryleague.co. Maybe we can include that
Yeah, I'll include.
address as well.
I'll do exactly that. Okay, great. All the best,
Wonderful.
guys, and see you again next time. Take care.
Thank you.